Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are minions SkepTok. He just muted his mic.
Hello, everybody.
I was gonna try to just sort of fill in for you. Hello, you know, I can't do impressions though. DrFunctional.
Hi.
Serenity Star 13.
Howdy. Sora says she'll be a little late because there's an issue at home.
Oh, that's good because I have a thing where she needs to defend a stupid thing that British Columbia did. So obviously I can't cover that if she's not here, and I say that in a kidding way.
Oh, I know. I just want to give you a heads up. So
no, I appreciate it. She's off having her fabulous life, probably eating food way better than what I had for dinner.
You gonna say hello too? No. Okay.
No.
I'm just going to say, from what I know, and I will not share her business unless she chooses to share her business.
Yeah.
It's not been that way this week.
Oh,
that way.
sorry.
So I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well, I'm happy if my friends have a good time. I want to live vicariously through you guys. Just because,
I know. It's just, I'm giving you a heads up. It's not been a fun week for her.
Well, how about you? Has it been a fun week for you?
It was colder than the Dickens, but we're back up to serviceable temperature at 32. Animals have been fine. All the cats are finally accounted for because when it got real cold, a bunch of them disappeared, and I was terrified they got. They didn't. Other than that, no, nothing going on. That's about it.
Okay.
In stupid gamer stuff, the game I play, Marvel Rivals, I play as Jeff the Shark, and I got MVP.
Nice.
Which I shouldn't have because I'm support, but we're not going to go into that one. But yeah, that's about it.
See, I don't really know how any of this stuff works. Have I ever played a game, like an electronic game, where I had to cooperate with people? No, I've never actually played an MMO. No, I mean, the closest I came to that was hanging out with my barbecue buddies, and we just passed the controller around. Okay, it's your turn to button mash.
No, Marvel. I've played WoW. I was the head of a guild in WoW. I've co-opted that way. Marvel Rivals is just a fighting game where you join in teams and fight other teams, and that's basically what it is. And that's the reason why I said I'm support, and I shouldn't have been the one who got MVP, but it's the way it goes.
Hey, it's whoever is most valuable, and support characters can be valuable.
They can, but we're not supposed to be. Not in this type of game.
No. Hey, take the win.
No, I have. I was very proud of it.
Good. Hey, DrFunctional.
Hi.
Anything new and exciting?
I'm cutting them right now.
You're
my little plastic war hamsters. Yeah, you know, life is life. I'm really adamant about you know, there's a war that I wouldn't mind the U.S. and Trump starting. The war to liberate the West. The UK has fallen. Canada's teetering on the edge, if not like holding on to the ledge. And fuck Australia, but like honestly, just invade. Most of the I would say that 80% of the population up here, maybe previously, like a year or two ago or 3 years ago, like probably would have said fuck no. But I think more people than not here would be like I'm talking actual Canadians, not our imported, our third world imports.
not your newcomers.
Would say, hell yes, please save us from the yoke of India and China because this is getting out of hand. And the UK would probably turn around and go, yeah, we're being invaded by Islam and we're taken over by Islam. This can't happen. This cannot happen for the future of the human race as a whole. This cannot happen. We cannot let this stand. I say we, like people in the West, but it has been infuriating me all week because I love Canada. I love it here. It's why I stayed here, and I don't want to see it fall to foreign shithole nations that are just going to take it and trash it. And we don't have the same. Okay, a little bit of a political rant. We don't have the same freedom of choice in our political candidates like you guys have. Like, obviously, Trump came in and he was just like, I'm going to lead the Republican Party, and the people spoke, right? That's how a democratic system should work. Here, first off, even to get your name in the registry, not to be on the ballot, but to run, to campaign, to start to say to people, to legally say to people, because we don't have freedom of speech, but to legally say to people, hey, my name is Billy Bob Smoke and Toke. I'm running for mayor or minister of parliament or whatever. You need to get permission from the party in power. So basically, the liberals have to say and rubber stamp, yeah, you can run for office. And it's like, why do I need your fucking permission? Why the fuck should anyone, elected or otherwise, say, no, you cannot run for office? It is infuriating because I've put my name, I've taken the application twice, been denied once and granted once. I'm really, really seriously thinking of making a run at mayor the next time around, because this is just getting out of fucking hand. Again, we have a literal communist, a literal avowed communist, as the mayor of the largest city in Canada. Tell me how that's not a fucking problem. Every single, almost every single level of government in the UK, London mayor, Birmingham mayor, all these other mayors, they're all Muslim. That's a problem.
Well,
I've given
Karen Bass. Karen Bass.
All Islam is bad. I do not care at this point. You want to say you're a Muslim, but you don't act like a Muslim. You're just like, no, then you either are or you aren't. I don't like. I've known enough people who I've worked with or whatever who say that they're Muslim, but they're not. There's a few who just aren't. They just have the label and they go through the motions, but you're not.
You know, our second largest city is Karen Bass is a Marxist. She loves Castro. She thinks Castro's the greatest thing ever. So I have a rough idea of what it's like, and I think we've all seen what the results are like when you have,
and it's getting worse here.
Somebody like that.
It was amazing to watch Trump dress all those people down, especially Karen Bass, because being the brain dead retard waste of space that she is, she's just sitting there smiling and nodding, like, oh well, we tried, and then Trump will just like, no, you didn't try, and that's the problem. And she's just sitting there smiling, just like, yeah, like, holy hell. Ugh.
I've got a little bit of stuff about that. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about the LA fires, but I've got a lot of show tonight. And a lot of stuff.
There's been a lot that happened this week. So I mean, not just political either. Like,
no, not just political. I've got some fun stuff too. I don't know if the fun quotient is quite as high as last week, but we've got Skep with us, so that's going to help. Skep is fun. Skep.
Yes. Skep is
old.
Skep is old. Skep. So before I ask you about stuff and things, can you greet the chat? Looks like we only have a few people watching, so it shouldn't take very long.
I saw Mike was first in today. Mr. Yes showed up. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple of folks, and we appreciate Green Badger coming in. Just came in this minute ago. Mm-hmm. And good evening, gentles all. Welcome to our discussion, and we love having you be a part of it and talk back to us through chat and be that extra person here on the show. Love having you guys. Thanks for coming.
You know, I'm not like a really prideful person. I have enough self-doubt that it kind of keeps me in check most of the time. But I talk to people.
I feel that.
I talk to people about this show. And I look at some of the stuff that we've talked about and some of the stuff we've done over the years. And I feel justifiably proud of what we put together and the amount of fun that we all have. And, what a good time we have after the chat. And I generally do not feel like the years that I've put in now hosting and hanging out with my friends are in any way wasted. I feel very good about the time I spend with, you guys in the chat and everything else. And I think overall, the show's a little schizophrenic because, of course, dealing with a bunch of volunteers, you never know who's going to show up. I have to do some things to kind of work around the logistics of stuff, that it's very fluid. But overall, we have pretty good stuff a lot of the time. Every now and then I tragically miss the mark, and then I feel a bit like Johnny Carson. They should play T for two, and I need to do that little shuffle dance that he would do. He would do. So you weren't feeling well last week, but you're feeling better now. So I don't know if it's fair to ask you how your week went, since I think a lot of it was recovering from feeling sick.
It was partly recovery, but it was. It's been actually a couple of people who are very important to my wife, and one who was important to me died in the last 2 weeks, and it's just been a grind. And then getting sick on top of it. I'll tell you, feeling better and having the funerals in the rearview mirror just feels better. I've been very concerned about Brenda's morale, and but she's bearing up, and we soldier on. The interesting thing is, for one thing, I love that the stock market is doing well. I'm not hating my investments at all right now. And the other thing is that, Trump has really gotten to work. He has really done a lot of stuff. Not all stuff I approve of, but I will tell you this. It's interesting having a president again.
Yeah.
Promises made, promises kept.
Well, he knows what he's doing this time. He's not relying on people to give him swampy recommendations.
Yep.
We are going to just briefly go over some of the cabinet choices, and I do have a few reservations about one or two of them. But overall, they're actually pretty good. Well, not actually. No, it's actually Loeffler that I'm not entirely convinced about.
Loeffler's.
I do have a thing set up for later where I want to look a little bit at the guy who's going to be the new NASA administrator. And so I want to go over his CV briefly. I know, exciting stuff I have planned for later.
I'm there.
I actually wanted to take a look at one of these people and see what you guys think about whether he's a good choice or not. Anything that you want to talk about, Skep, before we get started?
Nothing too much. I think the big news is that what's going on domestically with President Trump and his nominees. Obviously, there's been some hostages exchanged in the Israel situation that continues to be just shameful lies coming out of Hamas and out of so-called Palestine. It's a sickening situation that it's not going to get better as fast as people think it is. It's actually about to get a lot worse, I'm afraid. Anyway, so that's my doom and gloom thing. We can talk about that if you want to, but let's go through your stuff first.
Well, I have one quick thing just to talk about what Functional was talking about. You were talking about your problem with China and India in your country.
So as of 2021, China owns approximately 384,000 acres of agricultural land in America. But you're telling me they're more worried about an app? Hold on now for a minute.
I mean, she's not wrong. Well,
She's quite a proper little lass.
Let's kill this before it suddenly starts playing an SNL thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, hurry.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me agreeing with you. We don't have to get into the farmland thing. Oh, but Serenity wants to get into it. Go.
So they own 382,000 acres. That's it.
And how much of it does Bill Gates own? Because he's going crazy too.
We have 900 million acres of agricultural land. I understand where she's coming from, and I understand where people are coming from. But what are they going to fucking do? Come take it? I don't care. I don't care. Unless they're poisoning it, or we're going to go after Saudi Arabia with the same amount, I don't care. I understand what every pathetic little TikToker is doing. Oh, but you're more worried about an app. F you, sweetheart.
I'm
you
not
got more shit to worry about in Ireland. I'm not mad at you, Harry. This is at her. This is at her.
But she's
You have-
American.
No. She's Irish.
That was Irish.
She's American. Well, then
No.
who the fuck would she do? I don't care.
She's
Well,
Irish.
that's the thing, though, is that most of the entertainment on TikTok are Americans. If America goes off of TikTok, TikTok dies.
Because we're awesome.
But I get it. She's criticizing, like, why are you worried about TikTok when China owns so much land?
Well, how much land do they own? 80,000 acres?
No.
382,000 acres is what she said.
So 1/3 of a million acres of our
Yeah, and we have 900 million.
billion. No, we have 2.5 billion with a B.
Okay, are we measuring?
That's total land. That's not arable agricultural land.
Yeah, well,
That's
we're talking
right.
about
They're not
arable
even
land.
making any progress.
And that's what, well, Serenity, you're talking about arable land, farmland.
Yes, I am talking about the
farmland.
actual that is dedicated to agriculture. It's
So
900
they have
million.
1/3 of 1/900th is
Yeah.
what you're saying. Okay.
And
yeah.
Saudi Arabia
1
has
square
more,
foot is too
I
much.
think, or very close. And I understand that, but it's the same thing I've always stood by. What are they going to do? Come take it?
Right, exactly. Serenity has the economist's view. That's the economist's view.
If they would have put money into it,
No.
go for it.
Yeah, exactly. We welcome your foreign capital. Thank you so much for helping.
I knew those words were about to come out of Skep's mouth.
It's like I understand it to a point, but at the same time, considering how many people are just nosy motherfuckers who will watch them like hawks anyway, and are nosy about everybody's piece of land anyway, whether they're on a left leaning or right leaning, they're not going to be able to do much. The ones I'm worried about is Saudi Arabia because they keep taking everybody's water, but no one wants to notice on that because they keep paying attention to China and
the
India.
way that Saudi Arabia does that, watch for China to start doing that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Hang on. Let me just finish my thought.
Yeah.
The way that they do that is to set up a front company. That's how they do that. And Chinese are starting to do that too. The Japanese were doing that. They had a thing for land in Montana. For some reason, all the Japanese were buying up tons and tons of land in Montana. They still own that too.
Yep.
And they everybody got upset about it, but it's just foreign capital. We welcome your money. Bring your money to our shores. We love. Yes, sure. We'll give you a piece of paper that says you own that land. Have a nice day. Thanks for the money.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the farmland, and I'm actually really not that worried about TikTok. I do wish that parents would do their damn job and stop just giving things to children that they're not prepared to understand.
And I agree with you to a point, but at the same time, most of the stupid mother effers on the frickin' app are in their 20s.
Are of age, yes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that these are the same people who went to Red Note, a.k.a. Red Book, a.k.a. Mao Zedong's little Red Book for the Great Leap Forward, and were like, oh my God, it's like, China's is an amazing... No, it's not. You're an idiot. And that just proved how easy they all can be tricked. It's like, babies, I'm not for you need to take a test before you have the right to vote, but the way things are going, I'm getting closer and closer to that.
Yeah, you're going to be a minarchist if we keep doing this for much longer.
Oh, God. No, I'm going to go full freaking moonshine hermit and just cut off everything and live in the back hills of West Virginia and say, screw all of you. I have my shotgun, I have my animals, and I have moonshine.
That's right.
My land.
I feel this down to my bones.
Solar still and solar panels. You'll be all. That's all you need.
I am there.
100%.
Up here.
Shortwave radio to talk to my friends.
Yeah. Partially there anyway, because I have 3 wells on the property, and all I need to do is switch over to solar and screw you.
Up here, you guys actually own quite a bit of land, but that's through our mutual defense pact. There's a lot of space up in the bleak white north where some stuff happens. Well, thankfully it doesn't happen, but if shit pops off, that stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you want to know something interesting? Take just a wild guess how much land China owns in Canada.
Probably a lot, I'm assuming.
0. Well, outside of their embassy, 0. But they own tens of millions of homes.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So they don't actually own property, but they have tens of millions of like condos, and they started and this hasn't been proven yet, but I mean it's the same way that they did with the condos, is that, oh, it's not proven yet. But then when we proved it, they were like, yeah, but it's foreign investment and it's good. Yeah, but now we have tens of millions of homes that are empty, that are artificially inflating the market and causing all sorts of other problems.
Yeah.
But they're starting to get into the single family home market because we started building a lot more of those recently, and they're buying those up. And of course, because they have the capital of the CCP behind them, they can go in, just like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street are doing all across North America. They have the capital, go in, pay 10% above market, and then sit on it for, whatever nefarious reasons you want to make up or believe in. It doesn't really concern me, because the means of this being evil is evil. Why it's evil, I don't care. It's just it is evil. So, but it's interesting, because I wanted to know actually how many square kilometers of land all these foreign countries had, and it was like, well, basically it's just the United States. Well, and again, for good reason, for mutual defensive reasons, we let you guys store a lot of weaponry up here just in case the Ruskies attack.
Yeah, the old do line.
Whatever.
Do you know who owns the most agricultural land in the United States? This is going to surprise you.
Japan.
Bill Gates?
No, it's Canada. Do you know who's second? Italy.
Wait a minute. We're first?
I shit you not.
I thought we only owned like 12 million.
I'm looking at the list.
Well, no, the thing that makes the Italy thing funny is that if it's land that produces wheat, that just backs up the claim that when people go to Italy and claim, I don't have a gluten allergy here, it's still American wheat they're eating. They're just too stupid to realize that they're eating American wheat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Canada owns twice as much land as Italy does.
About a third of your agricultural land.
Yep.
Holy shit.
And here we are, everything's fine.
Who the hell knew?
Well, Canada.
Oh, sorry. It's a third of all foreign-owned land in the United States.
Land, yeah.
Yeah.
And Canada
I did not know that. Even more reason we should just say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just become. We'll add 11 states. British Columbia, Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, and the East will just be one, because who cares? And it's still funny. Even if that were to happen, our smallest province would be bigger than your largest state.
By square mileage, yes.
By just square mileage, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's the population of Canada?
It's a great investment, better than Greenland, because we have more natural resources than Greenland.
What's your population?
33, 34 million.
So a little, less than California, but that's a decent population.
Yeah, I mean, our population is about the size of one of your larger states. Like that, it's nothing. But we've got all this, and with Trump's slogan of "Drill, baby, drill," he's obviously not talking about just drilling. He wants to unleash energy. He wants to start mining for and producing things like steel, which you guys buy from us anyway. Steel, softwood, water, electricity,
TV.
It makes no sense that we're playing this game, and it's more so just Trudeau and the Liberals who are playing this game of like chicken, which it's like, dude, you're on a tricycle. You're a 2-year-old on a tricycle playing chicken with Killdozer. Stop.
Okay, let me give you a devil's advocate. So remember when people were saying largely what you're saying about West Germany and East Germany is, it's stupid that these two things are divided. We need to reunify them. But what ended up happening was West Germany is suffering because of all the terrible former secret police morons who are in the government in Germany now, in the unified Germany. So if we end up becoming, pulling Canada in, that means that all those socialist mayors and other people are going to start worming their way into our political system. And I actually worry that your crazy people might ruin the party for all of us in a conjoined one.
Make it a condition that we kill them of the merger, and that is to euthanize the bad people.
Well, we just send all of them on a boat to Trudeau's real father's house. just.
The thing is, though, with that, just offer a counter. They are by far a tiny minority of Canada as a whole. Just because of our first past the post style of representative democracy, all the power is in Southern Ontario and Quebec. So, like Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and that's a problem. That means that everybody else in the country doesn't really have a say. I mean, they can write it on paper as much as they want, but literally the entire country can vote against Toronto and Montreal. And if Toronto and Montreal is 100% for, or I think it's something stupid like 82% for the Liberals, they win every time. And to me, that's not a representative democracy. It's stupid. I hate our political system more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of the mind that we should just round up all the communists and all the leftists and socialists and dump them in California. They can have California. We build a wall around California and occasionally send Kurt Russell in to, cause some hilarity.
Okay, you're starting to lose me with this argument.
That's because you live there. You should be like, yes, functional. That's such a great idea. We can take all the good non-communists out of California and plant them wherever else they want to go, and just the country. Both countries will be okay. You know what? Okay, how about not California? How about British Columbia? Yeah. Well, we'll send all the socialists, all the communists up to British Columbia. We'll wall it off. They can trade with China and do all their stupid shit, and we'll be here. The second somebody
British Columbia. Why did they get British Columbia? Fucking give them Saskatchewan, that loser province.
But that's in the middle.
That's fine. Give them that anyway. There's airplanes.
No, Skep, come on. You know as well as I do. You'll run into an Israel situation. We don't want that. We want something that we can literally set off a couple well-placed charges in the Earth's crust and cause a seismic event that they can just float off into the ocean. No, but the second that China or someone gets a military foothold and builds an army base, we just glass the place and wait 20 years and then rebuild and reclaim it. Just fuck them. No, of course not. It's all humor, but I still think
200 million years. But
we should be like, you guys actually have laws on the books, and we have similar laws, but not as hard lined. But there's anti-communist laws. Let's start enforcing them.
Yeah, if you wait long enough, British Columbia will be in California.
Manitoba's on Hudson Bay. Give them that. They wouldn't be landlocked then.
Okay. My initial idea was to give them Atlantic Canada, but no. I want to reclaim Atlantic Canada because of overregulation. That's what's decimated it. It is also a very resource-rich and strategic area that we could turn into, what do you call them, with all the docks and shipping and stuff, like a port area for goods to go across the pond to the UK and Europe.
Yep. I'll happily donate some helicopter fuel. If you can deal with your communist problem, we'll talk about the merger. But I don't need a whole bunch more AOCs and.
Manitoba's definitely where you got to send your communists.
Yeah.
That's a
get rid of 50% of your communists and we'll talk. But let me get to some of the stuff that's actually in the thumbnail. So we were talking about Trump is doing all this winning.
I'm so tired of your winning.
He's doing a lot of things. His favorability rating, I heard something, a story, somebody was claiming it was at 59% now. Now, I wasn't able to verify that.
That was I'll tell you which poll that was.
Probably an outlier. I think that was Rasmussen?
No, it was Rasmussen, I think. I want to say it was Rasmussen. I'm going to check 538 real quick.
Yeah, 538 stuff is kind of old, but I mean, so many good things are happening.
Yeah, sometimes they posted up though.
So that ended up being something different. What I was actually trying to find was it said this is supposed to link to Donald Trump puts all U.S. government diversity staff on paid leave, but apparently I get this story instead. Thanks, BBC. That's great.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story. And they did that. And of course, I think this is the thing that everybody's laughing about. ATF accused of circumventing Trump order to place DEI staff on paid leave. There's this one woman with the ATF. They just changed the title on her picture to say that she's now, what is it, like senior executive, and she doesn't say DEI anymore. They didn't bother to send her off on paid leave, and a number
They
of
can
conservatives,
run, but they can't hide.
yeah, a
I
lot
mean,
of
these
conservatives
people-
are just pissed about this.
This is why they're put on paid leave, because if they were removed from the company, then they could be hired somewhere else, and there wouldn't be a direct link on paper. There wouldn't be that same paperwork. So what they want, and this is very good strategy, is they want to put them on paid leave, because then they're still under their thumb, and they can go after these people and be like, well, you broke the law on this date, this date, this date, and this date by not picking the best qualified person, and by hiring someone based on race, this race or that, this immutable characteristic or that immutable characteristic, and they can actually, this has now become actionable and easier to execute. Not execute in executions, but like execute the action of going after these people legally, which I think is great. Like, no quarter. Like, do everything you can within the scope of the law to tell the country, tell the world, this is not acceptable.
Well,
maybe it's the liberal.
Depending on how they're working for the government, sending them on paid leave is just easier. Just getting them out of the way so they can't cause any trouble, because in order to get rid of a civil servant, it takes at least a year and a half. You can move them around, sort of like just to keep them out of the way, but they'll find some way to cause trouble no matter where you send them. If you put them on paid leave, you get around a lot of those problems. It depends on whether they're like a GS-14 or GS-15, or whether they're what's called senior executive service. The rules on how you can make them go away are different. But if you just send them on paid leave, at least they're not causing any more damage. The money we're paying them is in a lot of ways is just sort of secondary. I can imagine somebody starting out like in HR, and then some executive walking in going, you look like you're the right color. How would you like to be diversity officer? And then they become diversity officer. They get rid of the DEI stuff. Instead of getting rid of them, they try to just send them back to working in HR. I suppose that's okay. I suppose. But I don't think that's... I think a lot of these people were hired explicitly for the purpose of being DEI people. And those people just need to be sent away after their performance improvement plans and all the other things they have to go through to get rid of them run out.
To get rid of them, exactly. And that's what you have to do. I worked in both on the military and in the civilian side of government, and 3 years that I spent working in the contracting office in the Fort Worth Federal Building was an amazing thing. This was back in the 1980s. I was administering a 3Com network, Unix network. You would have really enjoyed this, Harry. It was a
10 megabits.
A really, exactly, with drop cords. And it was a forest of drop cords. The drop cords would run from the ceiling. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, yeah. But here's old Lisa Boykin, and I think that people at the ATF are just trying to see what they can get away with, and it's
what I realized
bad.
is you have to do so much documentation, and you have to try so much remediation, and a lot of this is encoded in by union settlement and other things into what is effectively the law by which the stuff is adjudicated, and you have to let them screw up 14 different times, 14 different ways, and you have to document it. It has to be virtually videotaped all the way through. Now, back then it was just, interviewing people and getting statements of what did they do here, statements about how they perform their tasks. My point is, it's very difficult to document, almost impossible to build a case to get rid of somebody, so much so that whole process needs a top to bottom review.
Yep, that's why I like Millet so much. What a dude!
I think we. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just
very much so.
delay route and just abolish the ATF.
Yeah. So
Abolish the FBI.
in terms of Trump winning, it's actually reached the point where even California is starting to think about what's happening. California Democrat worries Trump-related special session may backfire on immigration. So she's actually wondering, like, I don't know, do we really want to poke the bear? Is this such a good idea? This is a level of introspection that I'm not used to from California Democrats. like not at all. This actually really amuses me. I'll spare you her talking. Just take my word for it. She's a little bit concerned that maybe poking the bear is not such a good idea, because I think even in California, people are starting to feel the winds of change. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's just sort of an aside here. Spain was saying something stupid. So Spain's left-wing prime minister, okay, it's a free article, forget what that says, but he was calling on the world to fight Trump's Silicon Valley technocast. Go away. They didn't mind so much when it was like a small group of people controlling Twitter, silencing people,
Right.
censoring people. It's fine as long as it's their billionaires. It's fine as long as it's their technocrats. And is there really that much of a difference between Elon Musk and like 12 people running Twitter? 1 versus 12 is really not that significant a difference, in my opinion. It's still a small group of technical people, a small group of business people having an awful lot of power. And you can't really do anything about that concentration of power.
It has impacts organizationally.
Yeah.
Particularly, and their business continuity things to think about. But yeah, you're right. That kind of concentration of power is still a concentration of power.
Yeah. They only mind because they don't like who has the concentration of power now.
Right. Exactly right.
And you're irrelevant, Spain. So you
I was just
shut
about to
up.
say, who gives a shit what Spain has to say? They haven't been relevant in, 250 years?
Yeah. Well, here's the cabinet that we're looking at here. So the Hegseth thing, I think he was just confirmed by, what was it? He got confirmed by 1 vote, didn't he?
Yeah. In fact, McConnell walked out, voted against him. McConnell voted against him so that the new vice president had to come down and cast the tie-breaking vote to get Hegseth in. Did you know that?
Yep.
Oh, my
Amazing.
God. McConnell voted against Hegseth just to piss off Trump? Really?
Yeah, Murkowski and Collins did too.
Murkowski's an idiot.
Well,
and Collins is
at
a
least
simpleton.
the Hill says that the Senate broke down party lines at 51 to 49.
And yet little Marco gets a 99 to 0. Like, it kind of was just like, wait, what?
Well, I want to
that should be a red flag to be like, wait a minute, wait. Maybe we picked the wrong guy here. Because I've never liked Marco Rubio. I've always thought he was one of those deep state swamp creatures. He's just a lot younger than your Pelosi's.
Yeah, little Marco, heck of a guy. Serenity, you were saying that it broke down on party lines. So if McConnell,
that's what the Hill says.
Well, maybe it was 51 to 50, and McConnell voted against him, and then maybe one of the Democrats voted for him. That's what I'm wondering. Was there one Democrat that voted for him?
At least what it says. The Senate on Thursday had advanced Hegeth's nomination to lead the Pentagon on largely party lines. 51 to 49 vote. Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins voted against Hegseth.
Right. So he had to have picked up a few Democrats. Okay. Couple, Dixiecrats. They're good for something.
I'm looking at the full list of all his nominees with all the info they have on them. So when you talk about them,
so the word I missed there that you said, the one I missed the first time was largely.
Well,
it broke down largely on party lines. Okay.
Yeah. And Skep, you were right. It was Rasmussen that said that was the 51% total approval. Other ones are saying for Trump. Other ones are saying it's around 40 something, but Rasmussen was saying it was 51% for approval.
Okay. Well, Scott Bessent is going to be interesting for Secretary of the Treasury. They keep appointing these guys who are all like Goldman Sachs alumni types.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the founder and CEO of hedge fund Key Square Group.
Yeah.
Senate Finance Committee voted 16 to 11 on Thursday to advance Bessent. What?
Yeah.
Is it Bessent? Am I getting it wrong?
I see Bessent, Bessent,
and he's openly gay too.
Yeah. Well,
Senate on Saturday voted 67 to 23 to tee up final passage.
I think he's probably pretty good with money. I mean, the guy who's running Treasury, I suspect that there's a whole lot of people you could put in there, and their political ideology doesn't matter quite as much as their loyalty. And I'm pretty sure Trump has got him nailed down on the loyalty thing, because that's what he values as much as anything, is loyalty in these people. So let's see, we had Hegseth, Pam Bondi. I don't know if you remember, what was it, Trump? Was it Trump? No, I'm sorry, Bush v. Gore. She was involved in the whole votification down in Florida with the hanging chads and all that sort of stuff. I recognize her name.
Yeah, she's former Attorney General for Florida.
Yeah, I mean, so she's finally getting that payoff for that deep Republican loyalty. That's me being cynical. For all I know, she's a wonderful human being and fantastic at her job. But when I heard that name, I was the member berries started telling me, "Hey, wait a second."
She's an attack dog. She's been an attack dog, a Republican attack dog for a long time.
Yeah, she'll be loyal.
Just who you want. She's just who you want.
She is not going to bite Trump's hand.
No, she'll be fun to watch.
She was senior advisor on the defense team for Trump's first impeachment. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she seems to be a pretty on the ball lawyer and fiercely loyal. She's going to do fine. I have no opinion about the Secretary of the Interior. I don't know enough about him. He's a former governor of North Dakota.
Yeah.
Well, the key is that the Secretary of the Interior doesn't do anything at all. You understand that? That is just
they can gum up the works a lot.
They can gum up the works if they want to, but it's mostly a reward type position.
Well, it is, but he's also, if confirmed to the post, Burgum will be also in charge of Trump's new Council of National Energy.
Yeah. If you put somebody in there who's not in favor of drilling, he can just gum up the works pretty badly. Yep. So I think we know what Doug's all about. I have no opinion about the Secretary of Agriculture. I'm just glad it's not another Biden nitwit. I don't even remember
White
who.
House aide.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all they have on her.
Secretary of Commerce. Again, I don't really have an opinion about him. He's just another Wall Street guy. I mean, I recognize his name, so he's whatever. So they actually have a pro-labor Secretary of Labor. This one surprised a few people. She doesn't seem like a very Trumpy pick.
Former Republican of Oregon who flipped her Oregon district in midterms but lost re-election in November. So.
Yeah. Well, generally pro-union Republican, making her addition to a less labor-friendly administration a surprising choice.
Also voted to be most likely to be fired.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've talked about RFK before. That's, that is what it is.
Don't like him. Don't like him.
Hey, look, it's a black guy, Scott Turner. So you almost always have to put a black guy in charge of HUD. That seems to be...
You have to. It's the only way to keep people up your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's got a very stylish red hat behind him, though. That's good.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
Carmen Sandiego.
Carmen Sandiego!
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right.
So we've got somebody who's not Pete Buttigieg for Secretary of Transportation. He's probably actually going to show up and do his job. Looking forward to that.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like he has a large hill to jump over thanks to Buttigieg.
Yeah. Secretary of Energy, the chief executive of a hydrofracking company. Well, there
Liberty
you go.
Energy.
There you go.
He was part of
Oh
Liberty
boy,
Energy.
Here we go.
Linda McMahon,
baby,
Secretary of Education. Well, okay, we'll see what Linda does. I think having somebody who's kind of hostile to the Department of Education is probably not the worst idea.
I hope this is a person who will close that department down.
Yeah.
It's a department that's never educated one student, not one.
Secretary
In fact,
of Veterans.
it's gone out of its way to lower the quality of education.
It's done a good job of that.
Since
It's been very effective.
Inception. It has never
very
done a good thing. It's only...
Yeah,
It's been very effective at being bad.
there's Kristi Noem. If you threaten the United States, she will shoot your dog. There you go.
Crap. Psychopath.
That was a dumb thing.
How hard did they have to go to find that bad a picture of her? I mean, the people at People Magazine really don't like her because I would say that this is probably in the bottom 10% of pictures of Kristi Noem.
Probably so. I will say this about Kristi Noem. I think she will not last very long. She's going to offend somebody who you must not offend. There are other people in that administration who you must not offend. She'll do that. She'll get it done.
Lee Zeldin, as EPA administrator, this feels like, again, a loyalty thing, but they want somebody. I feel like they're kind of grooming him for something else. This is like a stepping stone.
I want to smack him. I want to smack him.
Why do you want to smack him?
That picture, like, I don't know. It's just that I just wow.
He has a very smackable face.
I just want to. It's just that's all I want to do. Like, he could be a wonderful person, and I hope he is. But I just want to smack the smirk off his face.
I've seen him talking without a script. He was on Gutfeld once, and he actually came off as a pretty decent human being. He might be a complete piece of shit, but yeah.
He has that backpfeifen Gesicht. That means literally slap face or a punchable face. A face that looks like it should be smacked in German. Now, only the Germans would have one single word, backpfeifen Gesicht.
He doesn't push my buttons. I don't know. This is why it's always interesting, because I don't see it, but I'm more than willing to step out of the way and let you guys give him a little slap.
It's really funny that you bring that up too, Serenity, because I just finished reading a paper of this psychology and study of like physiognomy, and no, not the meme, but like how people's facial features, for no rational reason, trigger that kind of response in people. And long story short, it's just like like where your tribe sort of originated. Like you will more often than not in those groups of descendants of those people will find certain facial features like subconsciously threatening. So some tribe might see people with square jaws or a certain type of square jaw, and for no rational reason, again, like you said, they might be the nicest person in the world, but for some reason they immediately have this aversion to that person, and they don't know why. And it was really weird to read the study. I hope it gets peer reviewed and continues, because it's very interesting to me, at least, to find out why there's these kinds of like. Because I feel the same way. There's certain people, I look at them and I'm just like, I hate this person. Why? Like, why am I attracted to this feature, not that feature? Like all those little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can look at Tulsi and be like, I think that, most, yeah, sure, you would consider her beautiful. I look at her and I'm like, no.
I don't trust her.
No.
That's my thing. I don't trust her.
Yeah. She's been a gun-grabbing anti-nuke person in the past, so she's got a couple strikes against her. I do respect the discipline. Okay? That's something. I mean, I'm going to say something positive about her. She's very disciplined and focused and all that sort of stuff. I respect that. But of course, she could still be evil.
Yeah. But it's just I don't like the fact that she likes red flag laws. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I just called her two things that I don't like: gun-grabbing, anti-nuke. Okay, that's but I'm willing to give her a chance. Now, John Ratcliffe, chef's kiss. This is a great choice. No question why he'd be 74-25. I mean, he's going to be a fantastic CIA director, in my opinion. Don't care about the trade guy. I think Elise Stefanik as UN's ambassador, another outstanding choice. She is a great choice, and this is just a launch pad for bigger and better things for her later.
Oh yeah,
she's a superstar. I mean, in my opinion, in terms of Republicans working their way up in the party, she is one to watch.
Yeah, she makes me smile.
Yeah, she's like the kryptonite to that terrible Gillibrand woman who scares the crap out of me.
And should.
Yeah, she scares me more than just about anybody on the Democrat side. I'm not afraid of AOC. I'm afraid of Kristen Gillibrand. That's who I'm afraid of.
Yep. That's an ideologue who will, how compelling, please face wall now.
Yeah. Now, if my memory serves, this is the woman that sold a bunch of her stocks right after a briefing on COVID before everybody knew what was going on. She just conveniently got herself out of the market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She utterly unrepentant about it too.
Yeah. Well, Small business administrator. Okay. Kash Patel. I think everybody is pretty much on board with this. At least everybody on the right. Do I have a reason to dislike this man, Serenity?
I don't know. It's another face. I don't like.
People I respect seem to like him. That's not the same thing as me liking him, but people I respect like him.
There's a vocal minority online that are trying to throw shade his way. That the woke righties like the scum fox who you don't care about anyway.
Yeah.
Now I am thankful that he was at least born in the States.
Yeah.
So I will go with that. That is what he was born in the United States.
So let's talk about Trump's NASA nominee, because honestly, this is the most interesting one to me.
Which one's Jared? The one on the right?
He's the older gentleman.
The one on the right. Obviously, it's not going to be the women.
Okay. So...
not because they're women, because Jared is...
Okay, so he is actually... knows things about aeronautics. One of the A's in NASA, the aeronautics part, he actually knows a lot about aeronautics in the commercial sector. And he's also taken the ginormous amounts of money that he has and done things like he created a firm that is a private firm that actually trains military pilots. They have like, I think they're one of the biggest private owners of fighter jets in the world or some crazy thing like that. And he's gone into space 2 times now as a civilian. In fact, he was one of the people that did it. He's done a spacewalk. I don't think we've had a NASA administrator who knows as much about aeronautics and has actual space experience for quite a long time. The thing is that all of his experience is outside of government. And that's what makes it kind of fascinating, because the guy's very much a private business version of a government guy. So, for instance, let's see, early life.
Paper, this looks really good.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really interesting choice to me. So let's see. He made a bunch of money with finance stuff, sort of like Elon started out, right?
No, he actually founded Shift for Payments. Elon didn't fund PayPal.
Yeah, it was just sort of, I'm just talking it's similar that they have that in their background. So 2012.
He did it when he was 16.
Yeah, he founded Draken International, a Florida-based company that trains pilots for the United States Armed Forces. The company operates one of the largest fleets of privately owned fighter jets. He is flight qualified in multiple military aircraft. He continues to perform at air shows with his Black Diamond jet team. Respect.
You know what he drives when he's performing? A MiG-29. I shit you.
Yeah,
not.
here it is. Here's his MiG-29, and he does a ton of philanthropic stuff. It seems like he's just off on an ego trip doing a lot of this stuff. But he's doing stuff for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he's big into one of the big Jewish children's hospitals and stuff.
St. Jude.
I'm not finding anything to dislike about the guy. Is all I'm saying. And then of course, he's got a bunch of money, so he's been doing stuff on going into space.
Like $100 million to St. Jude.
Yeah.
Or promised $100 million. How people phrase shit drives me.
But if you want a guy who knows about aeronautics and space, who's not part of the swamp, this is your guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he might be a terrible choice. I have no way of predicting whether he's going to be good or not. But
you don't
honestly,
know what kind of an administrator he's going to be. But he's got the right chops for it.
I'm fascinated by this choice.
Interesting guy.
I think this is an amazing choice.
I think it's a very good choice.
I mean, he doesn't get stupid.
Yeah, he might
That's the only
just
thing
be.
that matters. Because it's like, because you can be the greatest person, but politics will
catch a dose of Washington.
Screw you sideways, and you won't know what's happening until it's too freaking late, because they're that good at it. But considering the fact that he's considered to be worth $1.9 billion, I am hoping he's surrounded himself with the right people, had enough sense to surround himself with the right people who will kind of either smack him upside the head or shoot the people who are going to try to manipulate him.
Well, okay. So, based on what I'm seeing here, if I suddenly got a phone call after the show and it was one of his people saying, we'd like you to come, work with him at NASA on strategic planning or something, but you'll have to stop, being the Harry Channel and stuff, I would absolutely go. I would go in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. As much as I don't like the weather on the East Coast and in the Sora.
All right, Mr. Half my state is burning to the ground and the other half flooded. Don't start with me.
Oh, shall we talk about that?
Go for it.
Okay. This is filed under Modern Problems Power. So this happened annoyingly close to me. Fire at one of the world's largest battery plants forced evacuations in California. This was at MotZ Landing, which is a little...
I was going to say, that looks like MotZ Landing.
It is MotZ Landing. It's the Vistra energy storage plant that one of the... I mean, all it took was one cell in one of those lithium-ion battery packs to take out one of the packs, and then it just worked its way down the rows. And they couldn't put it out. They just let it burn.
Oh,
they just let it burn.
Did you see Nile Red's? I forget if it was Nile Red or Stop Pyro, but it's one of the YouTube chemists video on taking lithium out of a battery and burning it, or exposing it to oxygen.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, let me show you some video of the fire.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching KSBY News. I'm Richard Gearhart.
Hey, Richard
We
Gearhart.
begin tonight with breaking news developing in Monterey County, where the Vistra power plant in MotZ Landing is enveloped with flames, forcing evacuations and closing roads in the area. The fire was reported shortly before 3 p.m. and by 5:30 tonight, flames billowed from the building, and a large amount of black smoke could be seen rising into the sky. It's unclear at this time what caused the fire or what exactly is burning.
And what you get from a fire like that is hydrofluoric acid and all sorts of other nasty things. Well, not hydrofluoric acid, excuse me, hydrogen fluoride, which combines with the moisture in your eyes and your sinuses to become hydrofluoric acid, and that's not fun at all. So there is this massive thing. So what does this mean, and why should anybody give a crap? Well, it's because there's a whole bunch of other projects similar to this that are going in all over California, and people are starting to go, wait a second, I'm not sure we should actually move forward on any of this crap. So at the same time as they're trying to put in a bunch of EVs and build all these new data centers, California is in a place where all of that cheap, abundant solar power that we're pulling in, we might not have any place to store it. This is actually kind of a big story. Because the strategic plan for power in California may have just taken a huge hit. So somebody's going to have to decide, kind of like when they investigated the Challenger disaster, can these facilities be made safe enough that it makes sense to move forward with them? And if not, what the hell are they going to do because they're not going to be able to do all the things they want to do and meet their power plan that involved all this battery storage. They're going to have to build whole new plants that use different types of batteries, like molten sulfur batteries, or the gravity storage, or just any type of thing. Maybe having terawatts of lithium-ion batteries is not such a great idea.
I feel like the lithium battery plants are going to be like nuclear 2.0 in the sense that it's going to make everybody fucking paranoid. And be like, it's going to blow, it's going to blow. The statistical likelihood of it going to blow is very, very minimal.
Well,
and most of the ones we do is just like, it's not going to happen. Stop it.
Let me ask a question into this, because that's a very interesting thing that Serenity just brought up. When is it going to blow? When are you not going to have this problem? In other words, when are you not going to have the problem that when you store a whole bunch of energy, a whole bunch of potential energy, it's just that potential energy. How do you keep it potential and convert it to electromagnetic energy or kinetic energy when you want to? That's the $64 question. That's the real problem here. You're always going to have something like lithium or something storing a whole bunch of energy that's going to be very dangerous to handle. Being able to design a cost-effective way to handle that stuff safely is the key to this. It's a really tricky problem. I think you're right to be paranoid, Eric.
I think it's actually, okay, I know I sound like I'm a little schizophrenic here, but you know that it's actually not that hard to build something that's resistant to this problem. The main issue was that once the fire was started, it spread throughout the entire storage facility.
Oh, yeah.
You could just build it so that you have like a megawatt of power with physical firewalls between it and the rest of it. You just build it between, you have bulkheads, you put halon systems in on all of these things. Of course, this means it costs a hell of a lot more money because it's way more fun just to get a big old building and then put a whole bunch of battery packs right next to each other on a nice long row. And that's what they did. And the fire, once it started, just spread through the whole thing. You just have to basically set it up so that one single cell catching fire can't take out the entire plant. They just need to do better engineering, and it's not anything super high tech, honestly.
Yep, that's the first problem they need to solve. They also need to do it economically. And being safe economically is hard, and it's hardest, in my opinion, in California.
Yeah, initially the news was reporting that this was actually Tesla stuff that was burning. And Elon came out and said, hey, well, no. We don't have anything to do with any of this.
Yeah.
This is Vistra. Don't come after us for this because this is not us.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I reported it was Elon. Must be Elon.
Yeah. So, Serenity.
Yo.
We were going to talk a little bit about how Tim Pool is kind of a moron.
I mean, not kind of a moron, but sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
have to
leaving West
listen to Tim Pool. So Tim Pool snaps over Agenda 2030 law in West Virginia. Now, that's not what any of this is. Okay. This has nothing to do with the World Economic Forum. Basically, a bunch of pro-labor people, I mean, correct me if I say anything wrong, got a bunch of laws passed in West Virginia similar to AB 5 in California that make it very difficult for a person who is not incorporated to work as a contractor. Is that the gist of it? Yeah. And so Tim Pool found this out the hard way when the state said, hey, wait a second. We don't like what you've been doing because you have to make these people employees, yada, yada, yada. And so Tim, in my opinion, he's trying to make a big deal out of this. He's not using the connections he has. He's not using any of the available workarounds. Instead, it really feels like he's trying to create as much drama as possible about this fixable problem.
Time out.
Yeah.
Is he trying to move to my state or is he in my state?
He's in your state, from what I can tell.
Because I may have to go hunting.
Yeah.
I don't want no white Oregon boy in my state. Get out.
Yeah, you don't want Beanie Boy in your state? Well, it sounds like he's in your state.
It's like, well, yeah, but it's like, of course you have to be incorporated because that protects your employees and protects yourself.
No, but if we talk about the consultants have to be incorporated.
Yes.
And he's busy saying, well, it's a $300 charge. Well,
no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can. In California, to become a limited liability corporation, it's $800 a year. And if you make more than, gosh, I forget how much, it goes up from there, right? But that's like the floor. And it's not $300 once, it's $800 a year.
Yeah, it's like, depending on the one, some of them are 150, some of them are 300, and it's like once. Yeah,
but it just means, okay, essentially he's busy talking about how he is not going to use his connections and his power as a media personality to try to get any special consideration from the state. And I read that as, I'm trying to be as difficult as possible because I want drama with the state.
Why doesn't he just hire consultants who already have the certification?
Or have them work through some other company as a subcontractor, or just, there's so many things he can do to try to get around this stuff. This just seems like
it's not even get around. It's just be logical about it. It brings in a little bit extra money to West Virginia to have them. It also brings a certain level of protection because if someone does something stupid, you can go, well, they were certified and they paid the fee, so we have them on record. Like, this is not even just a workaround thing. This is like, you pay $300. Stop being a tight ass, motherfucker. My state is broke. Well, we're not broke. We're one of the few states that are still in the black. But it's like, we're a under 200 million population state. Just pay the money, you pathetic little loser, and move on.
Well, I mean, you guys could, now that you've got Republicans in charge, you could get rid of some of your AB 5 type laws to make it easier for people to be independent contractors. That would be fine, in my opinion, but given the situation that he's already in versus moving your whole company out of West Virginia, maybe you could just try to be less stupid.
Well,
he's a drama king.
Yeah, it's just like, honey, chill.
Yeah.
Also, we're not exactly a state that's conducive to independent contractors anyway. You either, if you're an independent contractor, you do that crap under the table, or you've had your limited license certification, or you've had a regular license, unless business license. Like, that's the way most West Virginians work. You either get paid under table, or you have an LLC. That's what you do.
When Tim Pool was going to Malmo and he was doing on-the-ground reporting, I thought that was respectable. I had respect for the guy. And I would give him a buck or two a month or whatever. You know, I threw some shekels at him when he was doing that kind of work. But I feel like he's part of this, all these midwits that basically come in and sort of do news in quotes, right? So, I mean, honestly, Jeremy at the Quartering kind of annoys me too, because he talks about a lot of stuff that he has no real understanding with.
No fucking clue.
I mean, he does the work. I respect the hustle. I mean, he's out there putting hours of content and all that sort of stuff. But every time I see Jeremy talk about something that he doesn't understand, which is about like 2/3 of the time, I get the same impression that I used to get with Mundane Matt. Do you guys remember Mundane Matt?
Yes,
yeah.
you get
Boy?
embarrassed for him. You get embarrassed for him.
Yeah.
Boulder King of Colorado.
Fucking
But it's
Mundane Matt,
just
do
like,
not get me started.
it's
Yeah.
like those are not, like, the 2030 things are relatively old, and we're still a right to work state. So you don't have to belong to a union, and having the certification of that you are an actual legit business is not breaking the rule of right to work. He obviously doesn't understand what right to work fucking means, which is not surprising.
No, he doesn't understand a lot of things.
It's like, but honey, like, why would you be hiring people for consulting if they weren't certified as a business unto themselves, if they weren't going to fall under your own business?
From his own words, it wasn't about his employees or his contractors. It was about guests. So let's say he brings on, who's that fucker? Posobiec. Okay. Not an employee, friend of Tim's. Now,
Does Sobiak have a YouTube channel?
I don't know.
Well, because
But if he brings, it doesn't matter. If he bring, well, you can tell me why in a second. If he brings him on once as a guest, that was okay. But if he comes on a second time, then this is what I gleaned from what Tim was saying, that he has to either make that person an employee or designate them a contracted employee of the company or something stupid like that. And that's where the only thing that I was listening about this rant made sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. So, yeah.
If that's
So
true,
he
I might have to
works for
apologize.
Well, the thing is, he works for Turning Point.
Which is a
say that-
company.
Yeah,
So you
Yeah,
pay the
and-
appearance fee to the company.
yeah.
And it's,
Well, no,
it
there
shouldn't
is
be
no
an
money.
issue.
There is no money changing hands. He's not paid to be on the show. And again, the name is irrelevant. I'm just picking somebody that is a friend of Tim's that comes on the show every once in a while. Let's say Libby Emmons or Alex Jones or Michael Malice. It doesn't matter. Is if that person comes on the show for more than once, then they're now beholden to these. What did you call it? Project 2030, Agenda 2030,
Agenda 2030.
or whatever laws that are stupid. But I'm of the mind of, well, you know what? If you had a problem with any of this, A, you should have researched it beforehand, before you moved over state lines. B, maybe you should have been a little bit proactive on the local political level and not worried about the federal level 24/7.
Well,
Like maybe put some of his words into action and actually do something in the community to say, hey, we should fight against this. Like, but he doesn't, because, like you said, he once was a respectable journalist who's become a fart huffing do nothing. Like, oh, okay, I can't say do nothing because he does have the hustle, but like he doesn't put the energy in the right places and then complains when he doesn't get his way.
Well, the thing is that if these people are coming onto his show as a friend, and considering how much money that Tim is probably making, and he's not paying them an appearance fee, that makes me have more of a problem with Tim. But it's one of those things. It's like if there's not billable hours for it, it doesn't fall under Agenda 2030, because if he's not considering it being workable, how is that a right to work issue? If they're not getting paid, if they're not getting compensated, it's just two people hanging out on a TV show that he's making money from. So it doesn't...
Yeah, you're making his argument for, and he, as far as he has said, he doesn't pay his guests to come on. They come on because they want to be on the number 5 podcast in the world, something like that. I mean, Rogan doesn't pay people to come onto his show.
Well, but that's the issue, though, is that if he's not paying people, it doesn't fall under that. It doesn't fall under right to work because it's not work because they're not being compensated.
Exactly.
It doesn't fall under any of that.
I have a thought.
Well, is compensation, would compensation include things like travel, airfare?
It can, and that's
accommodation.
And if it's
because I know that he does supply that to, guests that he wants to bring on, and wants to sort of what's the word? Incentivize them to come onto his show, but also ingratiate himself with those people and be like, hey, let's be cool, like come on to my show, I'll fly you out, take care of everything, no need to worry about it, but we only do the show here, there's no calling in to kind of thing.
Okay, I need to interject something.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's possible that there's some sort of relationship because he's having them sign something saying it's okay to broadcast their appearance, right? That there's some sort of relationship, some kind of contractual something saying it's okay for us to take your likeness and what you're saying and have rights to it and then put it out, as part of Timcast. In fact, I'd be shocked if there wasn't such a thing. Because, people go on Timcast and then they'll show part of their appearance on Timcast. It's all codified who's allowed to do what with the footage, right?
Yeah.
And it's possible that West Virginia has gotten their claws into that. But as Serenity said, and I completely agree with it, if no money is changing hands, if there's no compensation for the work, not reimbursement, but compensation, none of this stuff should actually apply. And I think if Tim would just make a few phone calls, get a decent lawyer, he could get this all straightened out. He doesn't have to move out of West Virginia or have this be a lot of drama.
Well, it's like, it's not even get a lawyer, it's get a decent accountant. I'm sure the accountant could go, no, we just got to prove it to him that you're not paying anything, you're making money, and you're the only one who's incorporated, and then we'll go from there. And
CPA would be enough, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's just like, it's...
Yeah, and by the way, I only brought up the mundane Matt thing just because I feel like there's a type of person that Tim Pool falls into, this group of sort of hardworking midwits who produce news, but really they just sort of regurgitate stuff. And it doesn't seem to matter what the topic is. It almost always ends up being talked about for 20 minutes. It's like,
it's rage bait.
No matter how much or how little they know or how important the topic is, it always ends up being the optimal length in terms of the YouTube compensation in the algorithm. It's like, yeah. So you do feel like they're kind of playing for time a lot of times when you hear them talk.
How long is this entire thing that he's regurgitating about, him and his group of beards?
17
almost
minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
Almost 20 minutes. I mean, what a coincidence.
It's like, it's
content, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know behind the scenes, but his guest was the one who, it was Elijah Schaefer I fucking hate that guy, who brought up, he's like, yeah, but Tim, apparently something's going on with you. Maybe we should talk about that because their last topic was sort of stagnating. And Tim was like, well, I wasn't going to talk about it on the show, but fuck it, let's do it. And went off on this rant. I watch him all the time. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the time. I'll tune in to be like, okay, who's on the show and what are the topics? And if it interests me, I'll listen. If not, I probably politically align very closely to Tim. We're, disaffected liberals. So it's not something I put a lot of stock into. It's not like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh my God, Tim Pool. No, he's the greatest. Yeah. No, not at all. It's something that comes on at the 8 o'clock slot that I'm like, here, I tune in and whatever, either watch or don't. I mean, but I feel the same way with most content creators that I watch like regularly. Like it's sort of like it's just more entertainment than taking it seriously. Now, if they, if they bring up a topic that I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Then yeah, it actually does something good in that it inspires me to be like, okay, well, this is something that interests me. I'm gonna then to the internet and do some research and be like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, that's cool. You know, like, and then figure out for myself. But
shall we talk?
He's always been a little bit of a prissy pants since he stopped being a journalist.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a lot of people misunderstand what right to work laws are, and that's everybody. There's politicians who I've heard get it wrong. So it's like this is not a direct dig at him. It's one of those things where it's like right to work just means that you can't force someone to be in a union. That's all that means. That's not forcing a business license. That's not, because that's the way they know how to tax your ass. Whether you agree with taxes or not, not going into that one. But it's just 2030 and right to work are not the same thing. Now, they do fall under the same umbrella of jobs and occupation and companies, but they're not even the same spindle on the umbrella. And it's just, it's a mixture of either someone on his team didn't do research, because 2030, if I remember right, it's been around since 2019. So this is not a new law. This has been around for more than 5 years at this point. Like, if he has a half-decent accountant, a half-decent lawyer, they should have kind of caught it, especially considering how many guests he's had on it, unless he just moved. But even then, they should have still caught it. And it's just that thing of like...
Just moved, yes.
Like how
but also he was also trying to open a coffee shop. Again, these is just what he says, so I'm just regurgitating. It's not my opinion or anything.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine.
Well, I'm not saying for you. I'm just saying in general, like just in case people in chat are like, what is he talking about? That he himself has said in trying to open this coffee shop, something that should have taken, I think, 3 months to do, like just bureaucracy wise, has now taken him 18 months, 15 months, something like that. And he's
trying to open a coffee shop.
Well, and this is one of the things I actually like about him, or what he says, not in action, because the action hasn't happened yet. But what he says he wants to do is because politics is downstream from culture, which is downstream from politics. Like he wants to open a coffee shop where people can go and put on Tim Cash or his cadre of friends that put their shows on instead of CNN, and people can come and talk politics and do all this gay shit. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe it'll work. Who knows? But like, dude, you're in the middle of fucking buttfuck West Virginia.
Yeah,
these aren't the people you really need to be swaying minds of, right?
Unless he's up like toward Parkersburg, or like he can't do it down where I am because there's not enough people. Because it's
no, he's I forget.
Charleston.
What's there's that little strip of land at the very northeastern tip that goes like right towards DC.
Oh, he's near Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg, thank you.
Yeah.
He's
of course,
outside Fredericksburg.
Of course, he's in the most closed-minded college town in the fucking state. Of course.
Well, it was more so strategically for his show to get the guests on. If he's just outside of Fredericksburg, people in DC will come to him very easily.
Oh yeah, no.
So that kind of made sense. But you're right. I mean, like it really just sounds like he made no real effort into looking to where he's going. Well, because again, this studio that they're in now was just freshly minted and completed. What, 6 months ago?
Okay, I'm being told two different things. Duck Dog, is it Fredericksburg, Shepherdstown, or is it Wheeling? Because Duck Dog says it was Wheeling, and if it's Wheeling, good luck with that.
Is that all the same relative area?
No.
Oh, okay. No. I know for a fact he's way up in that little strip corner near Fredericksburg, for sure.
Going toward Washington,
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I don't remember where his old studio is, though.
It was probably Wheeling, knowing his luck. But
it was in a different state. It was like across the border.
Okay, he's in Martinsburg. Okay, that's near Shepherdstown University, which is a whole other ball of wax. But it's still... Wheeling was a question. Okay, got you, Duck Dog. Sorry. Wheeling's the other side of the state, sweetheart.
No, I know for a fact geographically, I just don't know the names of the places. I know geographically he's right up there in the northeast.
Yeah, there's
corner,
so many little
in the middle of like
there.
buttfuck nowhere. Like I mean, the closest thing to him is a gas station like 5 miles away.
But still, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, this is something that if you had a half decent lawyer or a half decent CPA on your payroll, they should have looked into before you moved here.
If it's even a real problem,
because he's Mr. He's got to micromanage everything, you know.
Yeah, it's Mr. Know-it-all. But it's like also, I as someone whose uncle who is now passed, a grand uncle technically because he was my grandmother's brother, was once the dean of Shepherdstown. I have heard horror stories about up there and the level of bureaucracy because of how close they are to Washington D.C. and they tilt toward more Washington D.C. because a lot of the commuters live up there. So I'm not surprised by the bureaucracy, but that was his own stupid fault for not looking into that. But the rest of the places around here, it does not take that long. I know someone who opened a coffee shop in the closest town to where I am. That's a little cafe. It took them 2 months, and it's same state laws. So I think it's just something with him.
I mean that's something that there's two possibilities in my mind that play out there. That A, it's not just a coffee shop, and he's lying. Or B, there's some nefarious actors in the bureaucracy that know who he is, are avowed leftists, and want to gunk up the works to do what he's doing and saying, fuck it, I'm out. So I don't know, I don't know, nobody can know except for them. But
well, it's one of those things with that part of the state, considering how close it is to Washington D.C. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of. It's a lot of political wannabes up there, and a lot of university wannabes, because that's, like I said, it's near one of our 3 universities. Well, we have like 4 or 5 now universities in this state, and Shepherdstown's kind of got a reputation. But if it's good luck, darling. That's all I got for you. That's may God go with you, my child, because you pissed the wrong people up there. You're going to get Washington D.C. dealt with, not West Virginia dealt with.
So I have another bureaucracy to talk about.
Go for it.
Okay. So there was actually a private island in San Francisco Bay. Now, I wasn't particularly familiar with this thing.
That looks like a muck pit.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just in the middle of Bay up in Solano County. It's called Point Buckler. And it was owned. People were using it for duck hunting. It's like, hey, you can't duck hunt in California. Come out to our private island. We'll shoot at some ducks. And then later... It got sort of eroded because they weren't maintaining the thing, and a bunch of the space got captured by the bay. And then when they tried to put it back, the state of California said, no, you can't put that back. You're putting fill into the bay. You don't have the right permits to put that back the way it was. And so it ended up becoming a douchebaggy windsurfing colony where this guy... set it up, and then rich people would go there to this private island and I guess kiteboarding. But I read the story about this thing, and it's just like dealing with California. Dealing with California is just such a pain. It says the 10-year fight over private island in the San Francisco Bay ends today. Point Buckler's 50 acres of marshland on the southern edge of Grizzly Bay were to be sold to the highest bidder on the Solano County Courthouse steps Wednesday morning. The auction marks the end of a decade of lawsuits, wild accusations, and the arrest of the island's owner, helipads and kitesurfing billionaires. On one side, a former America's Cup yachtsman and dot-com entrepreneur John Sweeney, who once flew tech founders to the island to join an exclusive surf club. On the other are the county and state agencies who claim Sweeney has committed one of the worst environmental activities in the entire San Francisco Bay. Dun, dun, dun.
Is he the one doing the kite surfing, or is he the one doing the duck hunting?
I mean, seriously, this is just so over the top. In Sweeney's estimation, though, the California Water Board and the Bay Conservation and Development Commissions, among other faceless government agencies, are carrying out a fraudulent land grab. I think they were upset because they heard that there were some billionaires in the marsh. They keep attacking me. And you know what? I actually believe him. Because this is exactly the kind of horse shit that happens in California, and why we can't have nice things. But I didn't know there was sort of a private island in the middle of it. It
doesn't look like it's much of an island. It looks like it's just a little bit of a rim of land and then nothing but in the middle.
Well, it's not touching any other land, so it's an island.
But it's just I get that, but at the same time, it still looks like.
Yeah,
that's marshland.
Well, imagine if you owned an island and you wanted to, like, I don't know, hunt some ducks or something on it, but there's all these agencies from the state of California who all think they own a piece of your soul. It's just the worst possible thing. It's just absolutely terrible. And of course, they, finally sold it. California, in some ways, is just a terrible, terrible place. The John Muir Land Trust, a nonprofit that owns and protects 4,600 acres in the Bay, purchased Point Buckler Island for $3.8 million. So essentially, it's going to be set aside and nobody's going to use it for anything.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Good job, California.
There you go.
Aren't we all happy now?
Now the duckies will be happy.
Yeah. So, you were talking about
down the ducky if you're
about sports ball earlier, right, Skep?
What's that?
You were talking about sports ball earlier. The entire Dallas Cowboys team all just got the same electric motorcycle, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. But they're not electric motorcycles. They're Swedish electric moped things. Can you imagine a linebacker, some 350-pound hunk of human muscle, riding on a stupid Swedish electric moped? I can't.
Some 325-pound offensive lineman.
I mean, did they think this through? I don't think they did. Because it's
why did they buy them? I didn't hear about this.
Well, it's obviously some sort of promotion for the Cake Maca electric moped. And now, let's just be clear on one thing: mopeds are not motorcycles. They may have engines, they may have two wheels, but a moped is not a motorcycle.
No. This was a gift from Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. He gifted his teammates custom electric mopeds as a token of appreciation for their support, dedication, and saving his life on every single play.
We'll give him e-bikes or motorcycles, but not whatever this is.
No, Prescott partnered with Emoto Supply Company to purchase the mopeds. Emoto customized each Cake Maca electric motorcycle with the player's jersey number. The gift also included limited edition Emoto Supply Company hats in the Cowboys colors. Prescott also gifted his teammates scooters in 2018. I didn't know that, to help them conserve energy during training camp. I guess to run them around so they didn't have to run from place to place. They could just use the scooters.
Well, they use scooters on racetracks. This is a thing that they would do, like Formula One race teams and stuff, because you got places you need to be, you need to get there. So they've used like scooters for the longest time in those kinds of sports as a means of getting around. I'm just not seeing like some 300-something pound linebacker riding on a electric moped.
You know what the fantasy I have now is a bunch of Dallas Cowboys playing against, say, the Baltimore Ravens, and it's mopeds on an oval track with rollerball rules, roller derby rules.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
I see nothing but money.
I see nothing but upside.
Nothing but money.
Yeah. Okay. So, I always have like my favorite thing of the week. Well, I guess I have to wait. Let's wait and see if Sora actually shows up for this thing. But, okay, here's a favorite thing that I found, which I think you'll like. This just amused me. It's like 40 seconds of video. This is, add smiles to serious classic paintings.
Oh,
I know I've easily abused. He did the statue too.
It's wrong.
Well, it's not like when they put Mr. Bean in all of these.
But their teeth did not look like that.
No, they didn't.
Please be historically accurate. God.
Yeah. Okay, how about this, Functional? You like models, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I did not know this, but there apparently is a 5-inch gauge model locomotive. Because I know about H and O and N and all those, and of course there's the ones at the park, where you can go and like ride around the park in the little miniature locomotive. That's really cool. There's actually something in between those sizes, which I did not know was a thing that existed. I present to you the 5-inch locomotive. And here's some guys enjoying their time. He's got his cup of coffee. He's got like a little seat rigged up on his little tiny locomotive. What? Look at that.
Oh, an electric train you can ride.
It's not electric. It is powered.
I know. It's powered. I'm using electric train as generic.
It actually it's actually completely functional. It has tiny little valves and levers and things that you can adjust, and you use a tiny little shovel to shovel little pieces of coal into the tiny little firebox. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And after you have it for a couple of years, you'll have a nice tiny little steam explosion when the poorly crafted parts come apart under the high pressure.
There's nothing poorly crafted about this. Look, it's put water in it, and you can see all the tiny little controls and stuff.
I'll tell you,
man, men are great. We have awesome hobbies.
Yes,
we really do.
It's making me so happy.
I think this is
My
outstanding.
God, I can play with that.
Yeah. Here's another thing sort of from the world of the arts. Photographer captures model 163 feet underwater, setting new record. That is impressive. That is a photo shoot. Get a model down 163 feet and take this picture.
Sorry, I was watching. I just had to dip to the restroom.
Yeah, photographer captures model 163 feet underwater, setting new record. How's that for a little activity functional?
But yeah.
That's some what's the word? Dedication to your craft.
That's a pretty amazing picture too.
It's all right.
Yeah. Well, technical difficulty is extremely high because 163 feet down, you're fighting with limited light, and she's very contrasty compared to the things around her. I wonder about how this was actually done, and I don't think they just did it just to set a record, or maybe they did. But I actually really, photography is one of the few art forms I actually know something about and I'm actually good at. So I tend to look at this stuff. Like, for instance, one of the things I had actually set aside was, let's see,
163 feet. That's like what, 5? That's only like, well, I say only, but that's 5 atmospheres of pressure too.
Yeah. And she seems remarkably composed, all things considered. But it gives you this bizarre weightlessness. Obviously, you could take the same picture in a lot less water if you wanted to.
Yeah, or in a pool and then transpose it over top the background. But
yeah,
no, it's for the sake of doing it rather than the shot itself, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and even now today we have AI programs that'll give you one, but it's not the same.
No.
And what, Josh?
Actually, where did they do this? Let's see. New Guinness Book of Records, shooting portrait of a model, staggering depth. Steve Hanning and model Kara Antosky dove the length of a 14-story building to reclaim the official world record for the deepest underwater model photo shoot that previously stood at 131 feet. Where are we? Took place on the Hydro-Atlantic shipwreck off Pompano Beach, Florida, which is past the no compression limit of 130 feet. The furthest people can dive before making stops on their way back to the surface. Yeah, you don't want to get the bends. But this is pretty impressive work, honestly. He definitely gets points for difficulty. Definitely gets points for difficulty.
Yeah, the shots are pretty interesting too. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had another photography thing buried in here. Let me see if I can find it.
Weird, the things that they come up with. In a great way, in a good way. Like,
people don't know what a serious. Yeah, I can tell Harry is the next level of serious for me, but I was a fairly serious photographer too. If you've got more than one SLR. If you own more than one SLR and use them at one time, you're a serious photographer.
I have actually been paid to take pictures.
So
Okay,
I lost my amateur status.
I've sold photographs. I've not been like paid to take them.
Yeah, I've done some commercial.
Rent them. I have them keep paying.
Yeah.
When I have the photographs.
Yeah.
You know, I tell them they won't be released this year.
I sold them.
Sorry, go ahead.
Some newspapers locally, just when I was younger and more into. What's the difference? What? There's digital photography, but then analog photography. Because once digital came around, I'm like, I lose all interest for it. If I don't have to spend the next 2 hours in a dark room, then I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, got to dodge and burn.
Like,
so I actually ran across this picture, and I sort of went down a rabbit hole a couple weeks ago. So this is a photo by John Rawlings. Now, Skep has probably seen many photos by John Rawlings before.
John Rawlings.
And he's a guy who essentially really elevated the state of commercial photography. He did a bunch of stuff for Vogue, not so interesting for red-blooded heterosexual males, really, but he did a lot of other things too. Like, for instance, he did pictures of notable celebrities and stuff, and his ability to actually do the work well, I thought was actually good. There's a Hitchcock photo of his that I want to find here. Okay, please be larger. So this is a photo by John Rawlings of Alfred Hitchcock, and it made enough of a splash that the poet Ogden Nash actually wrote a poem about this about this picture. Ogden Nash was kind of a big deal at the time. So pick a Hitchcock of opulence rather than corpulence, just pleasingly plump with a snug silhouette. To embellish the board where the places are set, for the ultimate test, more closely examine it. The Hitchcock Supreme has a streak of ham in it.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I love Ogden Nash so much.
Little John Rawlings. So just a sample of some of his stuff. Here's the nice ladies by themselves. Now, this was obviously a picture that he took for his rich friends of the wife and the daughter. Hemingway is the last name, just for fun. You know, that old name. His commercial photography is quite good. This is not an easy shot to get, especially when you're shooting stuff on film. And of course, just for, these types of shots are actually pretty difficult. So John Rawlings was a hell of a good photographer. Sorry, I forgot to include some Susie Parker pictures for you, Skep.
I was going to say, Susie Parker would be another one.
Yeah. Let's see. She's got to be here. I think she's at the end of this long collection of John Rawlings stuff. There she is. There's Susie. Wearing a humble thing for Vogue and stuff. But yeah.
A little something she threw on.
Just a little something that she threw on. But commercial photography before John Rawlings wasn't nearly as sophisticated as it was after.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a great Susie Parker pose right
there.
Yeah.
But I really like photography. With all the AI stuff that's coming along, functional, the debate that started when photography kicked in was they'd have guys like Man Ray, and there was this whole debate, is it art? I like it, but is it art? And I think that we're going to have that same conversation all over again because of all the AI stuff that's happening. What happened is people who were taking photographs of real things started trying to make them weird and esoteric and different and all that sort of stuff so that they could claim it was art. I just find that anything that, like nature stuff from Ansel Adams, it's like you don't have to do anything weird with it. You just have to figure out when the light's going to cooperate. That's the hard part, is just getting just imagining what it is you want to shoot, figuring out what conditions need to be set, and then waiting. And then seizing the moment when it comes to capture the perfect image. Yeah.
I think just personally, to me, like art is anything that is meets two criteria. Does the person who created it say it's art, and does it allow you to talk about it?
I feel that it needs one additional thing. It needs to have some level of skill in it. It can't just be taping a banana to a wall, because you can tape a banana to a wall and meet your 2 criteria, but it needs to have something more
that
to
art.
it. See, that's where we disagree.
But not because of the taping a banana to a wall, but because it inspired so many people to have to talk about it, that then becomes the art. Because you literally have people irrationally spurging out about this, and like that's part of the art. A lot of people were just like, yeah, I don't care, and moved on. And I mean that to me fails the criteria, because it didn't inspire the conversation aspect.
Yeah.
So, with respect to what you consider art, would you consider Jackson Pollock's work to be art?
Yes.
Why?
Well, the first criteria, because
where's the skill?
Well, see now you're getting into, I believe
no. Where's the skill?
No, but he doesn't say that's a criteria. I do. He doesn't.
I think that
skill is not a requirement. Okay.
No. In your framework for art functional, it doesn't have to have a technical skill component. That's correct, right?
But it then becomes into the conversation of the validity to you as the viewer, or the person experiencing the art, I should say, the validity of whether or not it is good art or bad art. Because I think I don't. A lot of my peers had this opinion, and I hated them for it. That they said all art is good, and I'm like, well, no. Or all art is valid, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It might be valid to Serenity, who taped this. You've been quiet for a while, so I'm just.
I was with doggies, so I have no idea.
You're taping a dog to a windowsill. Like, I don't find that to be good art at all. But I mean, and therefore it's not valid to me. It's not good to me. But you might like be very proud of your installation piece, and I'm like, okay, well, so be it. It's art. It's not good art. It's like Star Trek Picard. It's TV, but it's not good TV.
So is there an absolute standard for good art? It sounds like there is.
Well, then I would say that there's several criteria. One is there skill behind it? Is there something that this person can do that most people? What?
Skill suddenly entering into it. That I thought that was not consistent with what you said.
No. But Skep, I'm just saying, to label something as art, to designate it as art, has to follow those 2 criteria, and then you move into the: is it valid? Is it good to you as the viewer, to humanity, or whatever? And I think that skill then does play a huge part, because you might not be the best.
A wild Sora appears.
I love the name.
Hey, before we spurg out on art more, let's greet our friend from British Columbia. Functional was trying to take all the communists in Canada and send them to British Columbia as part of the unification deal.
Yeah. We just round them all up in the United States and Canada.
Everyone is already useless here. We don't need more of them.
See, she's making my point for me.
Exactly.
We'll save money on transportation costs.
I helpfully suggested that they be diverted to Manitoba. You'll be happy.
Okay. And I said nothing.
Yeah, she said nothing. Serenity's the only. Well, Serenity and I are the only ones you don't have to be mad at. Okay.
Northwest Territories.
So, Sora, I have something I have to. Okay, this is all in good fun, but I have to hold you responsible for something that your province did.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we do?
Let's see. I'm trying to find.
Hold on. Before we can I finish my point? And
quickly, please.
Like a lot of things, Skep, the arts is very subjective, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it, that's a good thing, because it then becomes very populist. So a lot of people, I don't think that Andy Warhol was technically very good, but he was a very influential artist, and he got a lot of people talking about it. As opposed to Leonardo da Vinci, who I thought was technically an amazing artist, but I don't think his messaging or his artistry, that mystique, that message was very powerful.
Okay.
Just 'cause this is sort of an example.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So, Sora,
Yes.
fire prevention, Smokey Bear. Everybody loves Smokey Bear, right? Is there anything wrong
Yeah.
with Smokey Bear? I mean, I like Smokey Bear. You like
I don't
Smokey
think
Bear.
so.
Everybody likes Smokey
Yeah.
Bear.
Not diverse enough.
Okay. But for
Why?
some reason,
Of color.
British Columbia decided to retire Smokey Bear. We still have
When?
Smokey. So what it says here, back in, what is it, 2022, your province
Oh.
decided to retire Smokey Bear and come up with a new mascot. The new mascot is Ember the Fox. Ember was designed and made in Canada, where the idea originated. Although Smokey is an icon of past generation, Ember's brightly colored fur and animated look are more appealing to the younger kids of today. Along with her physical features, Ember brings the knowledge that fire can be controlled and helpful, and that sometimes it's okay if forest fires arise, which is great. But I present to you Ember the fucking Fox. Okay, what?
Fuck off.
That's a Pikachu knockoff.
What the hell
that's
is that?
not one.
It looks like something that escaped from a furry convention that's not allowed near children. I'm just saying,
That's terrible.
it's terrible.
Oh no, that's still more expression than the cartoon animated version they have, because that looks like a copy and paste AI
They got
bullshit.
rid of Smokey the Bear for that
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah, now you have
fuel.
Ember the Fox.
Yeah, that is not creepy. Not creepy at all.
Yeah, hide your kids, hide your wife.
Jesus Christ.
I see Aries making my point for me that like we should just like British Columbia, just send them all there.
Can you do something
All
about
it
this,
off.
Sora? I mean,
Man.
I don't
Manitoba.
want them. That's you.
Manitoba.
Thank you.
okay. It's just a little aside. It just amused me, and it's like I know somebody in British Columbia. Okay, so you
I
guys
didn't know about
didn't even
this.
know
I
about
missed
this.
news.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
I completely,
never heard
I'm
about it.
so sad.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right, let's see.
Oh, also, why fox? Do we even have foxes here?
I have no
There's
idea.
foxes
Must.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
foxes everywhere in
Time
North
for some
America.
foxes.
Some far foxes.
Two wild and crazy guys.
Soon we
Old
will
Saturday
see the
Night Live was
Americans
actually
with their-
soon we will be swinging with these American foxes. God, Harry, stop it. Okay,
I know.
cold snap chills New York City's rats and heats up the fight against them. Oh, look how tired how cold he is.
All right,
Oh,
get
the
the
poor
get the
baby.
traps out and start shooting. BB guns at the ready. Here we go. GG.
Well, apparently
Here we go, rat. hunting.
Nigel.
the coordinator for this, they're like, hey, now's the time to really go to war against these little bastards.
it
Well, they
is.
can't move
No,
very
no.
much.
Yeah, yep.
Such cold has a chilling effect on Big Apple's notorious rodents, but it boosts efforts to get rid of them, says city rat czar Kathleen Karadi. It's stressing out rats, it's putting them in burrows. We kind of get a double down now while the rats are feeling the heat from the cold snap. Isn't that a clever turn of phrase there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're basically big old Norway rats, but I thought you'd be sad to know that the rats are cold in New York City.
Line them up and shoot them.
Yeah. Bring them in, warm them up.
If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them inside.
Exactly.
They've already found a way inside.
Yeah.
Too late.
Oh God. Okay. Let's see.
I
We
have
did
a funny,
that.
actually, rodent story for you.
Oh, go ahead.
My friend's father's is kind of like, it's one of these hospital, but it's not quite a hospital. It's like where you go for occupational therapy long term before you're released, you know, kind of thing. So his particular room, they have a resident mouse that I 100% think they're feeding, because there's 6 traps and he never goes. It's a plump mouse. Does not go into any of the traps. He's smart and is very polite. He doesn't interfere with the patients there. They have about 4 currently in that particular ward, the beds. So yeah, everyone's quiet about it. They don't tell the nurses. I mean, they have traps everywhere, but it's like that's their mascot. They are keeping, and everyone's denying feeding it, but there is the way my friend's describing it. I told her someone is feeding that mouse because it's too smart, too friendly, too knows when not to come out, which is usually when orderlies and nurses are about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can smell antiseptic and hate. Hide.
So I think that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
If you want to kill that mouse, just put a little bunch of half-starved chickens in the room with it. They'll die.
Okay, would you like to see a weird Japanese commercial?
Please.
You mean a Japanese
Always.
commercial?
Hurry.
Yeah.
すいません大丈夫ですか
Watch carefully. Her underarms are so hair-free and shiny that they represent a health threat.
Lord.
Let's see that again.
That poor man. His first eyes and the lady's armpits.
Man,
Very
That
good.
is so.
goddamn Japan.
I love
God
the
damn.
Japanese.
Okay.
They're so great.
God damn.
I'm gonna save this one for next week because we're running a little long.
I still love that. My favorite one of all these, and I can't remember if it's Korean or Japanese, is the one about the soap.
Oh
that
yeah, where
is
they
soap
wash
in it.
the dark skinned guy and he.
Yeah, he comes out a different race.
Yeah.
have you seen the Japanese TV thing where they roll giant tires off ski jumps, off of Olympic ski jumps?
Yep.
Japanese TV is really an entertaining change sometimes.
Hey, Skep,
Yep.
if you go back 100 years
Uh-huh.
and you look at Japan, they were bad touching and pillaging their way through huge sections of their neighbors.
Yes,
Right.
they were.
They were like off the hook terrible.
Yes.
I mean, just like murderous and warlike and
what they did
conquering
in
and just
China
the worst.
And Manchuria was beyond the pale.
And
And
now,
couple sons just took care of that. Just two land sons just went blue and then
and now
reset
it's
everything.
cat girls and
Yeah.
it's and shiny armpits and it's just
Whatever
all
could have
different.
happened.
Yeah, whatever could have happened. What do you? I think this is another question for the ladies. What do you guys think?
Oh Lord.
It's okay. I have it filed under sus. Where's sus?
All right.
What do you think
Sorry,
of this?
Researchers at MIT have revolutionised pneumatic actuators by digitally fabricating them with integrated sensing. This breakthrough simplifies design and production, unlocking new possibilities like assistive sleeves and exoskeletons.
Someone's going to use
To
it
showcase
whack
their innovation,
Reiki.
they've even developed a quadrupedal robot,
Yep.
Yep.
Someone's gonna
I
use it to
feel
whack Reiki.
unlocking new
I
possibilities.
feel like this is incredibly sus.
Yep.
I look at all the
Yep.
different ways
That
this
is definitely
technology
sus.
could be used, and almost all of them seem.
Yep. someone's gonna
Speaking
use
of Japan,
Yep. I'd be amazed. Someone's going to use those to make Black Bible. Don't look it up, chat. if
those
you
are
don't
going to be
already know what it
wrapped
is.
around things and inserted
They're
in
gonna use it-
things and
they're gonna
things.
use it to make a
It's not
live-action
going to be
Black
good.
Bible.
It's
That's what
not
they're
going to be
gonna
good.
do.
I
They're gonna
think
use it
this
to make a live action.
technology. I think I know where the grant came from. That's all I'm saying.
I think most of us know where the grant came from.
Yeah,
I
that's-
predict that a majority of males will have AI girlfriends in 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, they already do mostly. It's called Twitch.
No. I'm talking about in the flesh girlfriends.
yeah, maybe. I
These
think
will
young
be
boys are in a
Sex
bad
robots
way.
that- yeah.
Well, I mentioned, that I had a bunch of VTubers show up in my stream. You know what's showing up in my stream this week? It's parrots and parrots and cockatoos that talk. YouTube
Oh,
decided
that's
that for
nice.
2 solid days it was going to give me nothing but talking birds. Why? I don't know.
Because you needed more talking birds. in your life.
Apparently, it decided I'd run out of VTubers to throw at me, and it was
it'll
just
never
going
run
to give
out.
me
The
parrots.
algorithm.
Yeah.
It'll never
will
run
not
out of
question the
VTubers.
algorithm.
It will never run out of VTubers. That's a lovely thought, but they will never run out of VTubers.
Well, no, it started just giving me that stuff in my feed, lots of parrots and stuff.
They're lulling you into a false sense of safety.
And
Yeah.
then they'll hit you with the parrot VTuber.
Yeah. One other thing that it was feeding me was this basically traveling table thing. You guys have probably seen these videos. I actually think they're kind
Is
of
it the
sweet.
creepy guy on the German? Yeah.
Let's kill the sound. Now, you think he's being creepy.
Oh, God, this asshole.
Oh, God. Okay, Functional thinks he's being creepy.
No, I don't think he's being creepy. This is set up. These women are his accomplices. He's brought in, I think it's his girlfriend, but this younger blonde chick that is a frequent person in his videos. I think he's just being an asshole.
Yeah,
I don't want you eating on the subway. I don't want you eating on the train.
So you think this guy is in on it?
Yes. Well, maybe not, but I think most of them are.
I think many of them certainly are. Certainly the attractive younger women. He's like, hey, beer. Bringing people together. Beer and dried fish.
Well, it has to be a setup because I've heard horror stories about how puritanical the German subway systems are. So they'd have to know he was doing this before he does it.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was sweet. But anyway, I'm easily impressed.
I mean, it's a good. Okay, I'll concede to you, Harry. It's a very good thought, a good idea, and like, you know me, I love food. I love everything to do with food, and I think food is a great uniter. Great idea, but I just fuck off. Don't bring this shit on my train.
I don't know why I'm so much less cynical than other people, because I think I'm cynical. And then I talked to you folks, and I was like, I'm not the most cynical one here. Let's see.
Actually, Harry, you're kind of innocent.
I think I am.
You are really.
Yeah.
I think I am kind of that way. But speaking of innocence,
It's kind of endearing.
Mississippi lawmaker introduces Contraception Begins at Erection Act.
That's not going to go the way you think it's going to go, baby.
The bill, which is unlikely to pass, would
Never
make it
does.
unlawful
Wait a
for
minute.
a person to discharge genetic material without intent to fertilize an embryo.
Is this Elle Woods' speech from the first Legally Blonde movie?
Well, it's some Democrat from Mississippi.
Of course it's a Democrat. Of course it is.
So, yeah, the bill titled the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. Yeah. It's 2025. I know I don't normally do it's the current year thing, but him going on to the Every Sperm is Sacred thing, that's a Monty Python song, which we will get copy struck into oblivion if I play.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In 2025 really seems a bit extreme. But hey, if it gave me a laugh, and a lot of other people think it's kind of entertaining that we still got people like this around.
Oh, they're always going to be performative little pieces of shit.
Yeah. What the hell?
It was. I mean, obviously we know why. It's because it's in anticipation, or well, actually in response to the recent executive order, which by its wording, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was not good. Let me see if I can find it.
Serenity's looking stuff up.
Is it the one like what's a male,
birthright
what's a female?
citizenship?
That one?
Is that the one you're talking about?
I think so.
Okay, let me scroll back up. Trump ordered agencies starting 30 days after the order not to recognize babies as citizens if their mothers were unlawfully present at the time of birth and their father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. This also applies to children born to mothers who were lawful temporary residents and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. That's that one. I'm looking down the line. He did pardons. I don't give a shit about pardons.
No, it was about so the United States government will recognize from conception only male and female, and it's like
Oh, that. Okay, the gender
Dude,
thing.
everybody is born female. Or not born. Sorry.
No.
Every embryo is conceived as female. It isn't until much later in the whole grand scheme of things, that the gender develops. The XX or the XY takes dominance, and blah 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 blah. So it was just poorly worded, and I made a lot of fun of it, and I got so much hate from the online right on Twitter, like going, you don't know anything. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what?
Okay. How about
by the way it's worded, from the moment conception happens, every embryo is recognized as either male or will be observed as being male or female, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, chromosomes matter. I want to do one quick thing, and then we'll go.
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Philadelphia Mayor flubs Eagles chant ahead of snowy playoff game. This is pretty great.
As someone who's dyslexic, I would fuck it up too.
Philadelphia Mayor Cheryl Parker get a lot of attention for her attempt at this popular chant. Here's how it went.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Everyone in the background there looking around like, what just happened there? You can hear the mayor.
It is.
I'm sorry.
She seems like a really great person to have as your mayor. I hope she campaigned on an education forward platform.
To Serenity's comment, yeah, you're not a mayor, and I would hope that like you would hold your elected officials to a higher standard, like being able to spell. Other than that, it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're having to spell it in a different language or something. I mean, it's just not good.
And I mean, it's not like Philly's in the greatest.
But at least she's being a good sport about the fact that she can't spell.
Yeah. That's the thing that I can forgive, is that she's being okay about it. And, you know, I may not agree with her much on political things like that, but I can always appreciate somebody who's a good sport.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then somebody gets tired and they put an E on the end of tomato, and we all have a good laugh about it, and then move on.
Well, they didn't have a good laugh at Dan Quayle. They killed him over that.
Let's not get into a conversation of Dan Quayle and his wife and Jesus Christ.
Marilyn.
he was, she really. Oh yeah, she was a piece of work.
Want to talk about psychopaths?
Yeah. She makes Elizabeth Holmes look warm and fuzzy.
Look normal.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else before we go? We got to let Skep get his sleep because he's recovering.
Yeah.
Aside from laughing at the $6 billion EA loss and Star Trek, what is it, Section 31? I don't know. Like I'm laughing. I'm having a great time watching these people fail.
I have a Section 31 thing. I actually noticed. I've decided that why I didn't decide this earlier, because I'm naive. Okay, is that giant freaking robot is clearly not fit for purpose. They are stumbling all over them. Oh, put the thing back. They're stumbling all over themselves, talking about what a great thing Section 31 is. Clearly, they're just shilling all the time, and they're just not really critics or journalists or anything. Star Trek's newly released movie accomplishes the impossible and sets a new bar. What, a new low bar? Is it like a limbo contest for quality? I mean, what? No, but giant freaking robots actually talking about this thing as if it's somehow a good movie. And I think they're just not fit for purpose.
Possible.
They're just, you're dead to me. Except as a thing to make fun of from now on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to go,
hopeless.
I mean, so people who have Paramount Plus can watch this piece of crap for free.
Apparently.
And the sequel, Star Trek Meets Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Ember the Fox.
Well, the true sequel is the Orville, which it's more Trek than Trek.
It is a love letter to TNG.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I actually don't have a problem with the Orville. I think it's a decent enough show for the most part.
I love it.
Hey, Norm Macdonald was on it. Can't be all
I've turned
bad.
so many of my Trek friends onto it, and they're like, "Oh, this is," because they saw it's Seth MacFarlane. They did the and never watched it, and I'm like, no, give it a chance. Give the first 5 episodes a chance, and they just were hooked, and they were like, yeah, this is totally a love letter to Trek, and it's better than anything they've seen from Paramount since
Harry.
Yeah.
This is the last part of the article.
Okay.
Star Trek Section 31 is one of the worst ideas anyone has ever had, and one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh, good.
It's executed by a team of people who don't know what a movie is and performed by actors who don't know anything about acting. It has nothing at all to do with Star Trek. There's nothing Star Trek about it. Nothing in it looks like Star Trek. Star Trek things are not referenced or mentioned. It has no bearing on anything or in any part of Star Trek, thank God. Someone wrote a horrible, horrible Suicide Squad Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff mashup and then slapped Star Trek on the name in hopes that it would trick people into giving them money.
Okay.
Star Trek Section 31 was accomplished the impossible. It is the worst thing Star Trek has ever produced, and also one of the worst things to appear on screen anywhere.
They buried the lead bad on that one because they kept saying what seemed like nice things about it, and I was convinced it was a positive review.
They literally have no stars. They gave it no stars, Harry.
Okay. Thank God.
And I have to agree with them.
Okay,
because
giant freaking robot. You
might be fit for purpose.
You're out of my.
It literally says at the very bottom. The last line is our giant freaking robot review system operates on 1 through 5 star scale. Our scoring system doesn't go below 1 star, so I'm giving the Star Trek Section 0 stars.
Nice. Okay. Well. Okay. That's redemption then.
Like, we talk about clickbait all the time. Stop falling for clickbait. Don't just look at the article title. Read the thing.
I did read the thing. I didn't read all the way to the end because it was like, this is crap.
Yeah, it's like that's
something that actively sucks should get 0 stars. They did the right.
I don't understand why. Well, maybe I do. Michelle Yeoh gets all these parts because, yeah, she's one of those people that
she's a Hong Kong actress. That's
yeah, I know. The writer of that article, mentioned nobody in this show can act. It's like, yeah, well, her first foray into American cinema was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where kind of passable. Nobody's watching for her acting. They're watching for Chow Yun-fat to like kick some wholesale ass. Like,
I do have to say the sets look awesome. I do have to say that it doesn't look like Star Trek. I agree with them, but the sets look cool. Like they actually look like a weird like nouveau riche kind of, not nouveau riche, the art style, art deco, an art nouveau kind of style sets, art nouveau. That's what it looks like. Like that looks cool to me. That, that I think is cool, but beyond that, I don't care.
I have a favorite of that kind of
I'll
thing.
give Strange New Worlds that too, Serenity, in that their sets, their Enterprise bridge, their corridors, everything was fantastic.
Yeah.
Except Captain Pike's quarters pissed me off. Yeah. Guy's got a full fucking full kitchen, a lounge, and all this other shit. And I'm like, did you see Captain Kirk's fucking quarters? Do you see Captain Picard's quarters on a ship that's 40 times the size of this ship? Apparently, minuscule compared to this.
He needs the room to romance the whatevers that are.
Well, hold on. Pike's ship is the original Constellation class Enterprise, right?
Enterprise, yeah, before Kirk got it. He was the first captain of the
Constellation.
Enterprise.
Okay, I hate that I'm going to say this, but the Enterprise D is not that much. It is not 40 times larger than the Constellation class Enterprise.
It's a lot bigger.
It is a lot bigger.
I'm not 40. I'm being hyperbolic. But
you are being a little hyperbolic. The crew complement goes up by about 2.5 times, I think. They brought in families and the holodeck and all that sort of thing, but it's not 40 times. It's not even. It's a few times. I recently looked at this particular issue because I'm stupid.
I do like that you're actually this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice actually there, Harry. Yeah. Nice.
So I was talking to a friend of mine who was not feeling well, and I said, "Well,
Raymond.
How are you feeling?" And
Raymond.
And he said, "Well, I'm actually feeling like about a 5." And I go, "What, out of 10?" And I had this thought, and I was thinking, if we were talking about IMDb movies, what movie would you relate to this person's general health, right? So how would I How would I describe my friend's health in terms of what movie it would actually be? So I brought up this fine search of movies. So is it Casino Royale bad? Do you feel like Flintstones 1994 bad? Superman 3 falls into this as well. Malibu High, Charlie's Angels from 2019. So I was thinking about these movies, thinking if I felt bad, I would find these. Hot Tub Time Machine 2. You know, how bad do you feel? I feel about as bad as Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is. Good.
It's so terrible.
Because I think if this might be a good way to relate to people how when you don't feel well, don't give a number rating. Just describe how shitty a movie you feel like. Zapped? Who doesn't like Scott Baio in Zapped? You got a horny teenager in high school who, was it Scott Baio or was that the Willie Ames thing? I can't remember. It was terrible. It was, maybe both of them were in it. Oh, there's Willie Ames. Yeah, I got it right. Willie Ames and Scott Baio.
Yeah.
This is a terrible movie, by the way. So you get a horny teenager with telekinetic powers, and the hilarious hijinks ensue. Whee! Sorry. Yeah.
Does he like? Is it called Zap because he goes around like telekinetically pinching butts or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's a terrible movie, and honestly, I don't think it even deserves a 5. But next time I feel sick, I'm just going to relate it to people in terms of an equivalently bad movie.
You know what? Now with how bad everybody's saying it is, I have to watch it. Fuck.
I mean, it's not.
I like this rating system. It's good.
Yeah, I have to say I was a little annoyed at Casino Royale only getting 5 stars because I just find the opening credits to be more amusing than most movies are by themselves. Skep, you know what I'm talking about. They have like these incredible opening graphics and this music by the Tijuana Brass, and it's all just absolutely ridiculous. It's a schizophrenic movie because it's got
Royale?
Like it's the joke one with Woody Allen and Orson Welles.
Oh, David Niven?
And David Niven and Peter Sellers.
That's such a fun movie, and it only got 5 stars.
Yeah, it's not a 5-star movie. It's more than that.
That is great. It is.
Yeah, I think people are just confused. That kind of offended me, but sure.
I think they thought they were watching like the real James Bond Casino Royale and then got upset.
But I think, but if you feel 5 out of 10, if you tell somebody, well, how do I feel? Feel kind of like Superman 3. I think that conveys the level of suck pretty well.
I feel middling.
Yeah. All right. I should stop.
Superman 3 was a sad movie.
I should stop talking.
Oh, hi, Kefki. Bye, Kefki. We're about to leave.
Okay. Kefki, if you want, you can come hang out with us after the show. I'll send you the link. Just let me know. All right. This has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. We're very tired. We're going to sleep now. Bye.